How's it going? I'm waiting on Tyler to bring me some air. Man, it's hot. So this is post-harvest here behind Steve Schlenker's. And see, we did a little damage on maybe 1%. These beans will still make quite a bit. For the most part, pretty much unscathed. So I want to talk about like this change of mindset, because most people are very visual people and they don't understand this gap doesn't mean that you're going you're giving up much. What's really relevant with soybeans, I've made a lot of soybean videos, but each one of these internodes and each one of these leaves are solar panels. And when you see a field that's completely green, right now we're going into a very vital stage, and that is called R2, or the beginning of pod fill. So they've went from these blooms now to pods. And creating this venue that you're looking at, there's a lot of things going on. First, see all this straw? It takes a day or two for the beans to shake this off. But you look down in here, this is covered in straw. This is solar reflection panels. So the sun hits this, and because it's this very reflective color, it reflects it back into these leaves right here. Now all of these leaves, especially these leaves down here, this plant will react. Look at this plant right here, all these branches. This plant will react, acknowledging the space to fill in right here, instead of competing with all of its species to go up top. So in a normal field, the only sun capture you're getting is the top 15-20% of the plant, where this, you're getting 3 or 4 or 5 times more sun capture per plant. This also helps preserve moisture, and this space would allow weeds to grow, but it won't go through here. So that's why we put that straw down between our hemp plants and the organic. We gave it a nice clean slate and then placed the straw to discourage weed growth. So what happens as we go through time, we get some rainfall, is these plants live up to their potential. You know, I talk about oak trees by themselves produce 10 or 20 times more wood. You give a kid, you get them, make them literate at a young age. You encourage them to be creative. They're not this industrial cog that is just conforming to everything else. It expresses itself. So these edge plants, they're all edge plants. You'll see that in our corn, our popcorn, our hemp. Everything is given more sunlight per entity, so we can ratchet up the value per entity. So the reason that's important is when we start thinking in a Pareto terms, you only sell fireworks from June 30th to July 3rd, July 4th. If you notice, they drop the prices at the end. They're still making money off of you. They just can't exploit the demand. So if we think about all of our entities in this context, then you look at this right here. We took water, and while it's a liability in the spring, we put this biochar in the strips, and we got value for that light from a frost. Wheat can be cold. It can grow whenever the sun's out. We can extract water, and then these soybeans live in the roots right next to it. So it creates this microbiome in the biochar for a healthier soybean plant. So what's relevant is all of these nodes and leaves are now capable of producing more and basically living up to their potential. So this can be, applied in any business model, any plant scheme. We just can't do our potential when we do one thing. Okay, Tyler's here. Just give this a look. Again, we just harvested this last night. And this is the picture that I love, this carbon. You know, we got more of that ideal carbon and nitrogen ratio, and beans are loving life. While I walk up there, we'll show you how impressive this wheat was. I left a little streak here. I was probably doing one row and left a little streak. Look at the density we got. So we placed fertility underneath that wheat strip with biochar. So you have this carbon encapsulated ammonium sulfate and urea, a little bit of P and K, and this plant just made the most of it. Now this is just half the row, you can see. Look at the wheat density. And we were pulling off about 60 bushel wheat up here. This is about one of the best parts of the field from the wheat. So I got a lot of ideas on how we can make this system even a little bit better. And that's the whole thing, is you just do multiple things. We did this many different ways this way. You look at it, you learn, and you change. And once you start thinking in this multiple entity Pareto system, and then we start putting livestock, if we can create a platform for the local community to reward a farmer and take out all of the middlemen. Not that middlemen are bad, but a pencil takes 7 continents to build. The eraser comes from somewhere else. And as we get into this carbon economy, and we really start paying for our energy more, which we should, then it's gonna really reward these people that can integrate technologies, put them together, connect with people. And that's why I do these videos, take the time, is to show you. I love it when you guys try this on your farm and you start the learning process yourself. You may have a different idea, do it, learn, and you might have a lot of guys shake their head, but guess what? You change your mentality at a young age, you become a wise farmer that doesn't freak out when you have adversity later in life. You become an observer instead of a worrier. And you're a warrior, not a warrior. All right, I'm getting a little pep talky. I gotta help Tyler, but thanks for watching. Give this a few days. We should get some rainfall this weekend. This will fill in. And all right, we'll see you guys.